All right, so we've had pretty much over 24 hours since to digest what happened in the first All Blacks test of 2024, and yeah, look, and so it's the weekends and been busy with the kids, but yeah, look, I guess we've had enough time to let the emotions and perhaps some of the alcohol get flushed out of the system to think and look back on, what was, what's always, look, the first test for the All Blacks every season, or first test after a bit of a break, is always going to be a bit of a scrappy one, a rusty one. Combinations are still being worked out, and certainly with a new coach, a new captain, a lot of new combinations and all that, it was always going to be, yeah, it was never going to be smooth sailing from the off. And yeah, evidently that's what it is. But the most important thing is that we won, and not only that, we won by kind of knuckling down and just slowly grinding our way back into the game. So that is always a positive. And yeah, look, Scott Barrett and Scott Robert, the two Scots have got this new chapter of the All Blacks long history underway in Dunedin. And yeah, so yeah, that is always a positive. And look, I think there's not a whole lot more you can say. I mean, look, I think, obviously it's a shame, but apart from TJ, we'll need to see, we really should see this whole lineup, this same 23, apart from apart from possibly TJ Perenara, who is a bit of an injury question mark, because he did suffer a rather nasty looking tackle, and fingers crossed it's not too serious, or but almost certainly you think Finley Christie will probably end up starting with Cordis Radamug, but finally getting his charge off the bench. But yeah, look, I mean, I guess I guess for England, it was possibly their best chance to end that 21 year, that long 21 stretch of not winning in New Zealand. Of course, it was always going to be a hard task, but and they certainly played really, really well, I guess. And look, there's a lot of positive, I guess there's a lot of positives. Marcus Smith, ran the backs pretty well, and he's clearly he is clearly England's the future of England. I mean, goal kicking remain, and I guess goal kicking is the biggest Achilles heel. And possibly, I think, in my opinion, probably those kicks he missed, he really should have, I guess George Ford, Owen Farrell would have got those, and I think for me those made a difference. I mean, look, I know people say Damien McKenzie missed a couple as well, but Damien D-Max were a lot hard. They were sort of harder kicks, and of course, we talk about that penalty which timed out, but more on that a bit later. But yeah, I think for me, yeah, it was Marcus in a game of margins. Marcus Smith, and the way England are playing, the way England and Steve Borthwick want to play, they definitely need a number 10 that is able to have at least a 99% accuracy from the kicking tee, and Marcus Smith didn't quite deliver there. I guess, having said that Marcus Smith is not known for his goal kicking, maybe they need a George Ford, but who knows? It is a brave new world out there. Although it kind of feels like same old for England, because, when they were 16-15 down, they were still trying to play bull rush when, it's like, come on, be a bit more adventurous. You're behind, guys. You're behind again. It kind of felt like they were just waiting for the All Blacks to make a mistake. Which, as the game wore on, the All Blacks actually, after a really rocky start where England, Mauro Toje, Underhill, Benno, they were just absolutely, they just dominated the breakdowns right at the start. Scrums were a little bit edgy, but I think they certainly improved. The All Black scrums certainly improved, and they even had some of the ascendancy. but really it was pretty much England dominating. They ran the rush defense really well. And we just struggled to cope initially. But yeah, you got to credit the coaches. They sort of made a few adjustments after, and the All Blacks ultimately managed, they still managed to get over the gain line and, get themselves right back into the game. And I guess maybe for England, maybe it's a bit of a lack of confidence, which is a bit odd to say because, someone like Murray Teoje knows how to beat the All Blacks. A couple of these guys know how to have beaten the All Blacks. So it's a bit of a funny thing, I guess. But I guess New Zealand crowd, particularly somewhere in Dunedin, where it's pretty much all black, a couple of white, England fans there, it is a very tough place to win. But look, and by the way, it's the first win the All Blacks have had against England since 2018, although there's a bit of a disclaimer that we haven't really played England much in the last couple of seasons. So there you go. A couple of quick notes, I guess. Yeah, so for me, as I said, Murray Itoje, what a player. I think he's certainly outshone his counterpart Scott Barrett at times. So Patrick Tuipulotu was really good with ball in hand. What about the backs? I get Perenara was solid. I mean, I think halfback might very well be a little bit of an issue, but I guess it's perhaps we've been so used to seeing the Aaron Stiff sort of halfback with that pace that now he's gone. He can really feel the effect of it. I mean, yes, look, I know Fakatava was very inconsistent, but he was kind of like the closest thing to an Aaron Smith. But look, we have to go. We kind of have to move on from that. Perenara did all right, I think. But I think, his passing's not. At his age, his passing is nowhere quite like what Aaron Smith was at his peak. He's a bit more like an extra loose forward. Although certainly, I think it would be mean that you can say he's the new Piri because TJ Perenara was a whole lot faster than that. But yeah, certainly so. And look, Finley Christie, I think gets a bit more flack than he probably deserves. He's a solid, with a pack that was not quite as dominant as playing behind a pack, not quite as dominant as the Blues that he's used to with the Blues all season. I thought he did all right. Just his passing was. He was snappy when he needed to. He was solid. He kind of made sure things were pretty stable. So I think, if TJ's injuries, I'm expecting TJ's injury may possibly keep him out next of the game in Auckland, and in that case, Finley Christie starts. But and I think so that will be his chance to prove that he is the premier halfback in Scott Robertson's plans. Parafeta I thought did all right with while he was on. I mean, he set up the try for Ardie Severe, and I think it's a bit of a pity that I guess maybe it kind of feels like the coaches, the selectors just still don't really seem to trust Parafeta. I mean, they want to get Barrett to get some game time, but I guess. Oh yeah, that's what it is. And perhaps maybe they're setting Parafeta for his Blues home game next weekend. Of course, and then we have to talk about Damien McKenzie. Look, he ran the show pretty well, I thought. Was really solid on the high ball. Did everything good. Look, I mean, these are the best rugby players. So the Richie McCaw, Stan Carter's, everyone makes a mistake. And I think there's some factors. People say the noise might very well have drowned out the warnings coming from the ref because these kickers, they all know about the 60-second rule, and it's a good rule to have. I think it's just ridiculous seeing the comments saying like, it's made up rules. No, it's always been 60 seconds. I guess maybe Scott, for the viewer, perhaps the call was a bit confusing. Maybe Scott, I'm surprised that in this age Sky Sports hasn't got a shot clock. I mean, everything else with the coverage and the graphics is fine, and Sky Sports has been leading the way for rugby for so long, but I'm surprised that they don't have a shot clock. They had that at the Rugby World Cup, and it was really, really incredible, and it's not the hardest thing to do. So I think for me that kind of left a lot of viewers in the dark as to why it just suddenly blew. It was like, until we forget, yes, he's timed out, so... But Damien McKenzie, well, it's a mistake. He'll learn from it, just move on. I don't think he should be penalised just for that. It just happens, and Scott Robertson's every right to be annoyed, but yeah, we move on. And I should talk about the referee. Look, I know we tend to bag referees, particularly the Northern Hemisphere ones. They officiate games in a way that's certainly not different from the way we're used to for our Angus Gardners, Ben O'Keefe's and all that. And certainly the Georgian ref, I'm not going to try and pronounce his surname because I just can't pronounce Georgian, but I thought he was solid. I thought he was really, really good. Look, I know England rushed a lot. He kind of, there were times where it felt offside, but I mean, that is just the Northern Hemisphere way. We just have to kind of adapt. And, he actually he stuck to his guns and allowed the game. And I think the game flowed. And yeah, look, I mean, England are never always going to be pretty. I had thought of coming down to see this game to see my mum and brothers, but I thought I've seen England too many times. And much as, Carisbrooke or Forsyth Bar, it's the same England. So that's the first test. Those are my thoughts. Look, I think it's a bit premature to be saying whether players are, whether certain All Blacks are not fit. Yeah, I think we need to give another week. It's only first test but it's certainly a promising start, and I think fingers crossed we'll see a much more improved effort from the All Blacks once the combinations in general. There's a bit more training, chemistry built between players. So yeah, watch this space. And But what are your thoughts on the test on the Sunday night now? What were your first impressions of the Scott Robertson All Blacks and Scott Barrett as captain, Damien McKenzie as first five, and any other players? I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, feel free to like and don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, we'll see how we go with the video frequency with the school holidays now. There's also the Euros, which I wasn't planning to do a video until before the final, after the final, but you know what, there was just so much to talk about, so I might just do one.